What's your favorite TV show or movie blooper?
I believe you guys throw parties like this.
I'm sorry. They let you have parties, you know? My parents are dead.
Spider-Man. Peterman. That's all me. Am I fired?
Bring the action.
When you hear this in the club, you gotta turn the shit up. You gotta turn the shit up. You gotta turn the shit up.
Does anyone have any orange slices?
Quiet, please. No need to shout.
That kid on the TV just called me a dickhead again.
Noob master.
So he's an idiot.
No banner, only Hulk.
Mother, no, you weareth her drapes.
This is urgent. Then leave it urgently.
Hey girl, I hate men.
What is that? Oh shit, what is that?
I ain't never seen two pretty best friends. It's all a room, baby.
Tom's a little asshole.
Tom, will you keep just keep it down, man? Damn, man, you can't even do an interview. He over here yapping.
It's problematic.
Look, ever since his movie come out, he has 2 assistants now. It's so much. It's get out of here, man. It's so much.
Silent whisperer.
Like Billy Elliot. Get out of here.
There is no ego, really.
Yeah, Tom is the only egomaniac.
Tom's throwing it off balance every day.
Because it was good until Tom Holland showed up with his juice boxes and Diva and his assistant.
Yeah, but he upgraded now. You saw
he did.
that.
Now he has 2 assistants.
Ever since the new movie came out.
Now he has 2 assistants. You know, it's too much. I'm like Billy Elliot. Calm down, all right?
Elliot.
You were Billy Elliot.
He was.
Put your tutu on and calm down.
I would be Spider-Man because I can make that movie much better than
It's just a problem. He's a wildly annoying person.
Shooting stars never fly for me. My house on Mars kinda hard to see. But get out, you know I'll see you again. Get out, you know I'll see you again.
Well, I wanted to have Sebastian over sooner, but he sent me this video of him just ripping out bicep curls with a decapitated Iron Man skull in the thing, and I was like, this guy's method.
Welcome to the duo we never knew we needed. Robert and Sib Edition. Cuties.
Emergence of the Justice League made the Avengers up their game.
Listen, when they get a Bucky, we'll start talking.
But the right team is the only team cap.
No negativity from me.
Just let me go, we'll meet again soon. Now wait for me. Please hang around. I'll see you when I fall asleep. Love's gonna get you killed, but pride's gonna be the death of you and you and me and you and you and you and me and you and you and you.
I'm sure everything that he's going to do.
My enthusiasm and excitement and passion is
lucky you're beautiful because there's nothing up here.
What? That's mean. Did you just call me dumb?
Top secret, no cameras, Chris. Put your cameras away, man. Come on, Chris.
cameras,
Mate,
guys,
what are you
no
doing?
cameras.
Ben doesn't have it.
Somewhere musical.
I'm sorry, we're losing the audience. We have to move on.
Oh, is that not cool on camera? No. Oh, all of a sudden it's not cool.
That's RDJ.
Since when?
Hello, and in this video, I'll be rating Marvel men. Number 1. Next, we have our next rating. Next, we have one of my personal favorites. How can I forget? I'm not even sure if you could see his face in that one. No words. Lord have mercy! You people are sleeping on this next one. Yet another one who is unbelievably slept on. I apologize in advance for this one.
So for those of you who didn't know, there was like this 4-hour thing that came on TV the other night to commemorate the release of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier trailer. And one of the most talked about things in this trailer is the fact that they're in like couples therapy. So here's a list of things I think they did to wind up there. Number 1, Bucky asked for a cup of water and Sam brought him a cup of ice and told him to wait. Number 2, Bucky told Sam that Marvin Gaye isn't even that good. Number 3, Bucky came home one day to find Sam just chilling on his couch unannounced. Sam didn't move his seat up. Again, Bucky keeps sending Sam pictures of birds and asking if they're his family. Sam keeps sending Bucky pictures of old people and asking if he knows them. One of them claimed that they hated Peter Parker more than the other one. Bucky told Sam that he was blocking the view, and Sam just said that he was the view. One of them took the last donut with red, white, and blue sprinkles. Sam put Bucky as the answer to a 5-letter word for disappointment on a crossword puzzle. And lastly, Sam put out a tweet saying, if this tweet gets 1 like, I will punch Bucky in the face. And then he liked his own tweet.
I torture myself by reading 1-star reviews of good movies and 10-star reviews of bad movies. Welcome to Over Under Hype. Part 1. I figured we might as well go through the Marvel Cinematic Universe since WandaVision is pretty big right now. So let's start with a 1-star review of Iron Man. Pause it here if you want to read the review in full. I'm just going to cover the highlights. So they say they want to balance the huge hype this lame movie has. The only pros are the CGI and the suit look good. But their cons are that Robert Downey Jr. is an awful actor and should not play Iron Man. That's like saying Hugh Jackman shouldn't be Wolverine. Plot is lame and doesn't make sense. This is like the most childish film in all of the MCU with the most easy to follow plot structure. And at the end they say they should rate it a 3, but they're rating it a 1 to counteract the 10 out of 10s. I give this review 3 out of 10.
If Doctor Strange saw 14 million futures, he probably saw Ant-Man go up Thanos' ass in one of them. Tony Stark. So this is the reality where everyone survives. Doctor Strange. Tom Holland. Avengers Endgame script. It's blank. A concept. Yes. Spot the difference. If you're nothing with this suit, then you shouldn't have it. Okay, boomer? Upgrade. You can't, he's perfect. He really is perfect. I'm fucking Bucky. I'm fucking Steven. Ellen, I heard you miss Bucky Barnes. Steve, more than words can describe. Sniper laser shine on Steve's chest. Steve, OMG, Ellen, did it. Fuck Bucky Barnes. I'm trying.
I am so sorry for the person I am going to become when Falcon and the Winter Soldier drops.
When I first meet somebody, I ask them who their favorite Avenger is, and I'm going to tell you what I think about you based on your answer. If you say Tony, I think you have a lot of crippling self-doubt and don't think you're doing enough with your life, but I love you and I hope you get the therapy you need. If you say Steve, you're either a gay anarchist or a Trump supporter who completely missed the point. You're a super blunt person and you will call me out if I need to be called out. You also probably try to push me away before I can get close to you and have major trust issues. If it's the MCU version, I don't understand why. If it's the comic version, I fuck with you and I want to be your friend. You're either a really anxious person or a monster fucker, maybe both. You probably prefer to stay in with a few of your friends rather than go out to parties. I trust you to hold my drink at a frat party. You probably respect all identities, and you're also probably really smart, but you play dumb. What I assume about you based on your favorite Avenger Part 2. I promise your friends love you. Stop pushing them away. You probably have daddy issues and maybe a mix of a praise and degradation kink, but you're also terrified of any kind of physical or emotional intimacy. You are an amazing friend. You're probably a ride or die bitch. You'll do just about anything for your friends. You also have an amazing sense of humor. You probably have anger issues and unresolved trauma. You also probably are, or at some point were, in love with your best friend. You probably care a lot about civil rights. You're terrified of hurting your friends, and you live ideally rather than realistically. Also, are you okay? You don't know what you want to do yet, but I assure you it's going to be amazing. You probably value community and friendship over everything else, and your beliefs have changed a lot from when you were a kid. You have a savior complex and you stress out every time you can't help someone. How is your God complex? Please know you're doing your best and you don't always have to be the one to save everything. You're either absolutely in love with him or you want to beat him. There's no in between. There's a high chance you're a trans man and you crave validation from all your superiors and hate being the center of attention. What do you take for your ADHD? Probably root for the little guy and definitely want to eat the rich.
I want to talk about the commercial in this week's WandaVision because there's a few things I think people have overlooked. Again, spoilers for WandaVision episode 6. There's two things that stood out to me about this commercial. Number one, this is the first WandaVision commercial that hasn't prominently featured Wanda and Pietro's parents. Unless they voiced the kid and the shark, but I don't think they did. Number two, when the shark hands the kid the cup of yogurt, he says it's all the kid will need to survive, but because he can't open the yogurt, we're forced to watch him gradually turn into a desiccated skeleton. Cue the tagline, Yo Magic, the snack for survivors. In the most literal sense, the commercial is a creature offering the kid magic as a chance to survive, but because the kid can't access that magic, he dies. And given all that, plus the lack of Wanda's parents, I think this commercial has nothing to do with Wanda or Pietro, and everything to do with Billy.
I have an unsolicited Marvel opinion that no one wants to hear, nor will anyone agree with. When it comes to Civil War and who was right between Team Cap and Team Tony, I don't think there was a correct answer. I think they both made really good points. When it comes to the signing of government papers, Captain America did not want a government hand on things, which I totally understand and I agree with. However, whether or not they signed those papers, something was going to be forced on them eventually. And Tony knew that. Tony knew, and it's said in the movie a couple times, that he wanted to keep one hand on the wheel, because if they were forced into it, they'd have absolutely no control and no ability to negotiate. They both made correct points. However, I think that Tony's was strategically more intelligent, and I think Captain America's decision was more emotional. I don't think either of them is necessarily wrong. I just think that Tony was closer to correct. Throw all of that out the window. I do have opinions on the whole Bucky situation, but I don't really know if anyone wants to hear that. If you do, let me know and I'll make a video on it. Okay, so I have another Marvel opinion. This one is about the Bucky situation, specifically what happens in Civil War. If you haven't seen it and you don't want spoilers, please don't keep watching. Towards the end of the movie, we find out that Bucky killed Tony's parents while under the control of Hydra. Now, while we know that it's not Bucky's fault, and deep down Tony knows it's not Bucky's fault, Tony's reaction to finding out his parents were murdered by this man is entirely justified in my opinion. Finding out that the man that is in the room with you murders your parents is going to send you through the roof. And it makes total fucking sense as to why. In my opinion, what happened was not Bucky's fault and it was not Tony's fault. It was entirely Captain America's fault. Steve knew that Bucky killed Tony's parents. Steve had the opportunity to tell Tony. He could have told him in a way that would have diffused the situation and it would have made it a lot easier for Tony to understand that it wasn't Bucky's fault. That anger would have then been curbed toward Hydra as an organization and not towards Bucky as a person. However, not only did Tony have to deal with the pain of watching his parents be killed by Bucky, he had to deal with the pain of knowing that someone that he trusted lied to him. Which is why I take Team Iron Man in that situation all the way.
Oh my god. Oh my.
Holy crap, we need to talk about WandaVision. I haven't even finished the episode, but something big just happened. So the twins have this interesting moment with Quicksilver.
Yeah, kick-ass. I feel
Which is so much bigger than anybody realizes because it's referencing this movie Kick-Ass, where Evan Peters played alongside Aaron Taylor Johnson, who we all know was the other Quicksilver.
Keep that WandaVision theory in the drafts, babe. Someone said the W in the title card is actually a backwards M for Mephisto. That's just how W's look. Is the D also a sideways B for Bugs Bunny? Looney Tunes crossover confirmed? Someone else said Professor X is controlling Wanda. Okay. Oh, and my personal favorite, apparently Senor Scratch is actually Loki in disguise. Why? These aren't even theories anymore. Y'all are writing fan fiction.
My week was going fine until I saw this picture, and from that moment on it was all I could think about.
Imagine crying over a guy.
Marvel Heroes and their unofficial official theme songs. Come and get your love for the hero Star-Lord. X gon' give it to you for the anti-hero Deadpool.
X gon' give it to you. Fuck, wait for you to get it on your own. X gon'
Just a girl for the hero Captain Marvel. It's been a long, long time for the hero Captain America.
It's entirely possible that
Wanda, who is this? This is my brother, Pietro. Hi. Didn't that bitch get shot? Oh, was it too soon?
Oh, that corpse fucking bitch.
Hit it, Fergie.
All the time I turn around, brothers gather around, always looking at me up and down, looking at my.
Find out that everybody talks, everybody talks, everybody talks. It started with the week. Your best friend's house. I loved you then and I love you now. Oh yeah.
And I'm not trying to lose. Then you're left in the dust, unless I stuck.
Seek it out and we shall find the old. But I'm not that old, young, but I'm not that bold. And I don't think the world is sold. I'm just doing what we're told. A heart of steel starts to grow. When you've been fighting for it all your life, you've been struggling to make things right. That's how
I'm really liking WandaVision, but I need to get off WandaVision TikTok because every video falls into one of three categories. The first one I like to call same theory, different character. I think Vision's Mephisto. I think Ralph is Mephisto. Agnes is definitely Mephisto. The rabbit, Mephisto. The second one is pointing out extremely obvious Easter eggs. I feel like no one's talking about the name of the show, WandaVision, because it's like Wanda's television show, but if you notice, there's a character named Vision in the show, and I feel like he's going to be really important later on in the season. And the third one is just people thirsting over Vision, like to each their own, but y'all are not my own.
Hopefully I can explain in 60 seconds why I don't like Captain Marvel without coming across as female superhero is bad. First of all, Brie Larson was at a huge disadvantage because she was introduced into the MCU 20 movies in. She had a lot of catching up to do by the time Endgame rolled around. And she was filming her part in Endgame without actually understanding her character because Captain Marvel wasn't even done yet. Speaking of her movie, I thought it was odd that such a powerful hero got a buddy cop movie that a lot of Black Widow fans have been waiting a decade for. Her powers are just so strong and out of this world, it didn't seem to fit naturally on Earth. Speaking of her powers, she suffers from power creep big time because of all the catching up she had to do. You compare how fast she became powerful to how long it took for the Iron Man suit to evolve where we've seen it in Endgame, it just seems way too forced. Brie Larson and Marvel Studios pushing the strong female hero really undermined the existing heroes like Gamora and Hope that they already had, because when they were selling Captain Marvel to us, they were essentially saying, forget all those girls you've already met, they're actually a bunch of wimps. Also, Brie Larson herself seems naturally a little defensive. Part 2.
That's some bullshit.
Taking a picture of me. Taking a picture.
All I get fat is that face on your face. I work like a dog day and night.
Such a crick in the neck.
Not when I've spent my entire life loving Jack Bromley like one of you. No one is talking to you.
I'm a black hole exploding.
I'm ambitious, black, talented, fierce, sensitive, exhausted. I am at your mercy.
Off the swing, Barbie swinging to the ring, Barbie blinging. Good box story called Donna King. Who the fuck gon' poly with them dollies? I'ma never do the mollies. If I hit you, then you probably gon' so. Who the fuck gon' cut through with
So we've seen 1, 2, 3 live-action versions of The Amazing Spider-Man on the big screen, and also one animated version on top of that. And that's all in the span of the last 18 years alone. So given the fact that Robert Downey Jr. has been playing Iron Man for over 10 years, that's pretty fast turnover for the webheads. Needless to say, there is a wide array of opinions out there when it comes to which iteration of Spider-Man is the best. But there is one pattern that you tend to see, especially among videos like this one. MCU Spider-Man is bad. You know, you have the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, which was the first one on the silver screen, very popular back then, and many still love him today. You have the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, who was hated in his time, but not unlike the Star Wars prequels, years later people have begun to appreciate him. And then you have Tom Holland Spider-Man, the current iteration of the character, who's also part of the biggest movie franchise in the history of the planet. Now, if you're
Dear Lord, when I get to heaven, please let me bring my man.
Clap if you care. All right, let's move on.
Y'all, I sneaked a video of Avengers Campus. I can't even.
Gobble me, swallow me, drip down inside of me, quick jump out, but you let it get inside of me until I put a put it in until I wound up. Be a run down on the bar, have an eye, running me, top your clap, bite your lip, ass one call, like pride.
This is memorize the lyrics to the songs from what Disney musical? No, not Aladdin. Little Mermaid. Well, as a matter of fact, it is the Little Mermaid. Leave it to Bucky.
Mary, probably Bucky. Just, we got a history. He's my oldest friend in the world.
Chris Evans.
Welcome to MCU Bromances Part 2, Chris and Sib Edition.
I mean, I love Chris. He's awesome. I mean,
co-star.
Yeah.
Haley's smoking, huh?
Oh, I thought you meant Sebastian
Oh,
Stan.
sorry. Yeah.
This is awkward.
Please use one word to describe me. Go.
That's what I was hoping for. I love it.
That is correct. If Robert Downey Jr. and I got in a real fight, who do you think would win?
obviously you.
You fight off.
I see where the allegiance is. Seb has that strong jaw.
He's getting that helmet
Looks
really
good
well.
in the red, white, and blue right now. I don't know, man.
Hi, so I wanted to talk about a WandaVision theory that I haven't heard anybody say, but makes so much sense. Alright, so obviously, up ahead, WandaVision spoilers in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So the theory is going to sound a little out there, but I promise I have so much information and proof to back this up, it's going to make so much sense once I explain everything. But basically, the theory is, I think at the end of WandaVision, Wanda's going to be pushed over the edge and kind of lose control, and accidentally scatter everybody in Westview, including everybody who just got put into it, throughout the multiverse, and she's going to end up in the X-Men universe. Now again, I know that sounds a little bit out there, but I promise I have so much proof behind it. It's not enough to fit in one video, so there are going to be multiple parts. However, I'm posting them all simultaneously, so you do not have to wait. So go to part 2.
I've been saving more than I've been spending, that's what I be on. I'm a human, I'm not perfect, I know sometimes I be wrong. I'm like coming.
People hate on Captain Marvel is because she's too overpowered or she became too powerful too quickly. Now, let me put y'all on something. Captain Marvel got her powers from the Space Stone. It absorbed into her when she shot it. She was 22 when she got her powers, and the main events of Captain Marvel happened when she was 28. Within those 6 years, she was seen training with the Kree. We've seen it ourselves. Wanda got her powers from the Mind Stone, from experimentation. After the Avengers, the scepter was handed over to S.H.I.E.L.D., which then handed over to Strucker. The Avengers took place in 2012, while Age of Ultron took place in 2015, so the most time Wanda could have had with the powers was 3 years. And the only thing we've seen her train with during those 3 years was her sitting in a box, lifting up blocks. And during Age of Ultron, she mind-controlled a whole city, and none of y'all batted an eye. The time between Captain Marvel and Endgame, canonically is like 20 years. So she had 20 years with her powers between Endgame. I love Wanda, by the way. I'm not hating on her.
Yo, that's some deep ass shit. Thanks, me. Nah, but honestly, it's true. Endgame ruined everybody's arc. Thor didn't even get any character development until Ragnarok. Thank you, Taika. And then he became a fat joke. I'm glad they showed that he can still be worthy during depression, but it was really, really tone deaf. And the whole Clinton is family thing and the Ronin thing, I mean, I know it happens in the comic. Clint's been ruined since Age of Ultron when they gave him a family. They killed Natasha. Tony finally had a family, and he deserved to be with his family. Y'all can be like, oh, he was finally selfless. No, it was really selfish of him. He left Pepper, he left Morgan. He deserved his family. Oh, Steve finally got to be selfish and go and insert himself into Peggy's life, knowing full well that she had an actual life in this timeline, robbing her of that opportunity in that timeline, not even knowing if she'd say yes, not having a fucking conversation, and not having a conversation with Bucky. Bucky finally had a life, and Steve left. And Hulk sucked. Tony's family, gone. Peggy's future, gone. Steve's present. Bucky's entire heart and reason to live.
It's not fair, 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 not fair! Why won't you forgive me? If you did something wrong, you'd forgive yourself right away! What did I do? Why won't anybody forgive me?
No, this is where you zip it. Alright, the adults is talking. Today, history is being made on the set of Spider-Man 3. So as most of you guys know, Spider-Man 3 has been filming in Atlanta for quite some time now, and now is when they're filming the biggest parts of the movie. And today they're filming on this field, which is the same field where they filmed the biggest action scenes from Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Let's keep it real, it's going down right now. Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, they're all on set right now filming one of the biggest action sequences of all time. I just feel it in my stomach right now. History is currently being made, and we don't even know it yet.
I'm gonna eat your girlfriend.
No! No! You will not eat my girlfriend!
Hopped off the swing, Barbie swinging to the ring, Barbie blinging. Good box story called Don the King. Who the fuck gon' poly with them dollies? I'ma never do the molly type of hit you, then you probably gon' so. Who the fuck gon' cut through with the
Mrs. Stark, can you hear me? It's Peter. We won. Mrs. Stark. We won, Mrs. Stark. I won. You did it, sir. You did it. I'm sorry. Don't.
What's been going on? Do you remember when we were in space? And I got all dusty, and I must have passed out because I woke up and you were gone, but Doctor Strange was there, right? And he was like, it's been 5 years, come on, they need us. And then he started doing the yellow sparkly thing that he does all the time. What are you doing? Oh, this is nice.
Does anyone else feel like watching WandaVision has been one of the most satisfying entertainment experiences they've had in the last few years? I think it's because it's coming out on a week-to-week basis and there's a huge online community surrounding it. Even after you've watched the week's episode, you can go online and talk about it and still feel immersed in the world of the show. Compare this to binge watching a show where you're only immersed in the story for a brief period of time. The ironic thing is, I feel like people binge watch shows so that they can feel like they're immersed in a world. But I'm realizing now, this week-to-week model might actually accomplish that way better than a binge model might. And I know not every show is going to fit into a week-to-week model, but I think it's really cool that this is happening with WandaVision, and I hope it's something that we see in other shows going forward.
New York and Hong Kong remain now to shield us from the dark dimension. You defended the New York sanctum from attack. With its master gone, it needs another. Master Strange.
Captain America Civil War is one of, or if not the best MCU film. And let me just tell you why. Let's just start off by saying that this film did not feel like a Captain America film. It was definitely way different from its earlier predecessors, giving us more of a corrupted Avengers kind of feel. And what I love about this film is that almost every single character in this movie make a mistake that would soon change their character. One of the more important mistakes in this film is when Wanda accidentally kills a whole lot of people on accident. One of the main mistakes is Captain America and Iron Man's feud, sooner leading them to resent each other later in the films. Vision makes a wrong calculation and accidentally shoots down Rhodey. Bucky unknowingly killed both Tony Stark's parents. Let me just also add that this movie had a lot more dramatic scenes than any of the other MCU movies. It was more than just a person dying. It's these two characters that we're growing up with, but they're just hating each other. This movie honestly holds some of the best acting in any of the MCU movies as well. Tony Stark just breaking when he finds out that his parents were murdered by someone close, it just breaks my heart.
Just finished watching WandaVision episode 7. It is 1:20 a.m., which means it's time to talk about some details. Do I even have to say it? Spoilers. This is definitely a Modern Family inspired episode. But does anyone notice that the theme song sounds a lot like The Office? I freaking knew Hayward was sus. He trying to use Vision as a weapon. Ooh, Agnes, we gonna get to you in a second. Biggest disappointment of the episode. You hype up the engineer and you give us her. Mark my words, I'm still saying Reed Richards created this. Okay, so the Nexus commercial deserves its own video because this is huge. I'm talking leads directly into the multiverse huge. Monica has power! I think she might be my new favorite character in the MCU. I'm convinced something's up with this mailman. I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised by this. Because remember, I called this. Because this outfit gave it away. But I love the way she gloats though. Snooper's gonna snoop.
For me, Marvel character adaptations tend to fall into 3 different categories. I tend to think they're either fine, deliberately being like Hollywoodized to make them more palatable and understandable to like mainstream people who don't read comic books, or I just think they're bad. I would put like Captain America, Tony Stark, Black Panther, Captain Marvel in the first group. Like I think those characters are adapted in such a way that even if you're not a comic book reader, you walk away from the movie like understanding the idea of that person. I think Spider-Man is an example of the second category. Peter Parker is very distinctly a hero of the working class. Aligning him with billionaire Tony Stark and having him fight like distinctly working class heroes, that feels like capitalism refusing to critique itself. And then like Hawkeye and Black Widow, just bad. Like it was bad enough that they erased his disability, but then that's not Clint. This adorably tired man is Clint Barton. This is Clint Barton. Where is this? Where was
Thor Ragnarok is the most underrated MCU movie, and I am willing to be brutally murdered on this hill. Anyone with good taste knows that this movie is absolutely hilarious, but there's a lot more going on with it. The main villain, Hela, is a great reminder that history is literally written by the victor. She's a good example of not to put people on a pedestal, especially terrible fathers like Odin. She's also a really great villain because she's actually threatening, she's charismatic, and the things she does in this movie actually have lasting effects on the universe as a whole. For crying out loud, they had to trigger their version of Armageddon just so she wouldn't kill them.
Then there's Loki, who starts to become self-aware about all his flaws but doesn't really believe that he can change, and as a result flip-flop. But this flip-flop is actually kind of sadder because in a way he really is trying. Valkyrie and Bruce are literally fighting their whole demons this entire movie and are putting up with a fight that technically isn't theirs. Thor loses almost everything in this movie. He's so happy to see the Hulk just because he wants a friend after all the trauma he's been through. My goodness, yes, this movie is hilarious, but there is so much underneath the surface that we don't talk about.
So many people are talking about the Pietro Maximoff Funko Pop. But did you notice the names in the credits? They're pretty standard, even though Agnes has no last name. However, Pietro Maximoff is himself. But who else would he be?
Oh my fucking god, Marvel, you did not think this through. It's a good thing Steve Rogers is a straight white man. Imagine he was openly gay, openly trans, fucking Jewish, a person of color in the 40s.
Okay, let's talk about the WandaVision commercial in episode 7 because it's huge. If you haven't seen the episode, keep scrolling. It's 2 a.m. right now, but we're gonna get into it. So the commercial is for Nexus, which is a medication that's meant to cure Wanda's current depression. Up until this point, all the commercials have been related to Wanda's past traumas, but this seems to be the first one related to her current situation. The actress is even meant to look like her, having the same hair at Wanda at this point. On the surface, the name Nexus seems to be just a throwaway name, but it's actually way bigger than that. For those of you who don't know, a Nexus is usually described as something that links a bunch of things together, or is the center of all those things that are linked together. Now this is where it gets crazy. The entire multiverse is connected by a nexus. It is essentially a gateway to every possible reality. And in the comics, Wanda's reality warping abilities are described as affecting probabilities and outcomes, effectively changing the future. Wanda is a nexus being, meaning she is literally the gateway to the multiverse. This scene of her losing control of her powers is the multiverse unraveling.
On your left. On your left.
On your left.
I can do this all day. I can do this all day. I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know. I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
We have a Hulk.
I am Iron Man. I am Iron Man. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
You didn't see that coming?
You didn't see that coming?
You didn't see that coming.
I love you 3000.
I love you 3000.
So in the 7th episode of WandaVision, I think Doctor Strange is already trying to break through to Wanda. In the show's The Office style opening, we're treated to a montage of a bunch of things that are just saying Wanda. It's almost as if someone's trying to get her attention. And there are multiple moments where it reads Wanda and then zooms in as if someone is saying it twice. Oh snap, I just realized that's Stan Lee's birthday. Nice. Anyway, there's even a moment where it says, "I know what you are doing, Wanda." I like to watch with subtitles, and while Wanda was in the kitchen, I noticed that the name of the news station that was on was WNBA, which roughly spells out Wanda. And this might not mean anything, but the very next thing we hear is not a thing weighing heavily on your conscience, which could be pertaining to Wanda herself. Now we know that the show is going to lead directly into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which Scarlet Witch is going to be in also. And the episode's commercial heavily hinted at Scarlet Witch being a Nexus being, which I explained in my last video that this means she is the gateway to the multiverse. And I have no doubt that after the events of the show, Doctor Strange is aware of this. Also, the episode is called Breaking the Fourth Wall. What if Doctor Strange is too?
Who I would pick to be the next 6 Avengers. Here we go. As much as it hurts to do this, 2 of them are dead and 1 practically is. So first, I want to say the ones that I think are going to be the next 6, then the ones I would choose. So I think Peter, Sam as the new Captain America, She-Hulk, Shang-Chi, Yelena as Black Widow, and Captain Marvel for the space person. Here's who I would choose. Not Scarlet Witch because she may be the villain, but Spider-Man because, yeah. Doctor Strange, but I feel like he's going to be busy with like multiverse stuff. Sam as Cap, Captain Marvel, and Ant-Man.
Hi, I'm Scott.
But I feel like they're gonna make the Young Avengers too with Kate Bishop, Wiccan and Speed, Miss Marvel, Ironheart, and Cassie Lang.
Sorry, can't hear you. Right.
Hard cast. I love WandaVision so much. It's everything I've ever wanted in a superhero TV show. If they have a big cameo and it's Tony Stark, I will drop this show so fucking fast. It would be such a jarring slap to the face to have this whole series centered around like Wanda and her grief, to just have Tony Stark pop in and be like, I'm here to save the day. Why is he here? Why would he be there? Having a Tony Stark cameo on a show about a character that did not get their own movie is a terrible idea. That would literally take all the focus off of Wanda and her grief and all the other characters they've been setting up and just be like, look, there's Tony Stark like you all wanted. Why? Why?
Agnes, where are the boys? Oh, you mean Fast and the Fruity?
Wanda girl, I'm so sorry. That was funny as fuck.
Oh, the name? It's Agatha Harkness, by the way. I've, been behind everything.
Oh. Oh my god, like, such a surprise, such a shocker. I totally didn't know, like, 6 episodes ago.
It's been in front of our faces the whole time. So everyone knows by now that Agnes is actually Agatha Harkness. She's a witch in the Marvel Comics. And we've seen that her magic is purple. She's got this purple in her eye. And while many of us kind of figured out that Agnes is Agatha Harkness because it's, you know, Agnes Harkness. Yeah. And they've been putting it in front of our faces the whole time, not just because of her name, but before you even learn her name, it's in front of us. She's right up here in the poster, right? This is, you know, the main WandaVision poster. If you look really close, what color is her hair? Purple! It's been there the whole time!
Since people seem to be all up in their feelings about the Wickedness Speed video I did, let's talk about another LGBTQ character that Marvel announced is coming to the MCU. This is America Chavez. Now granted, I have my issues with the casting, because I mean, look at her and then look at how America Chavez is drawn, but that's a whole nother story. But yes, as I said in the beginning, and I wanted to put this here to piss people off, America Chavez is a lesbian. America Chavez is from an alternate dimension outside of time and space known as the Utopian Parallel, which is actually created by the Demiurge, which is a future version of Wiccan. Eventually, America Chavez will come into the main Marvel universe and join the Young Avengers with the sole purpose of protecting Wiccan, as he is the future creator and ruler of her home dimension. America Chavez can fly, she is invulnerable, she has super speed, super strength, so this moment shows her picking up a Megalodon shark and throwing it pretty far. And Loki says if she wanted, she could hurl tanks to the moon. Her most unique ability is to open star-shaped portals to go anywhere in the multiverse or any dimension.
I gotta say, I do 110% understand why film bros wouldn't like WandaVision. This show is very clearly made by people that love TV. And I really love that. Like, this is easily one of my favorite shows right now. But if you don't really like TV and you were more expecting like Avengers movies in shorter time slots, like episodes 1 through 4 are not gonna vibe with you. Personally, I don't really like the Avengers, I prefer the Justice League, but the writers of WandaVision, I love you all individually on an atomic level. Even though the show does rely heavily on like prior knowledge of like the MCU movies, I haven't seen them and I'm still having a great time. The pilot episode is very unique in that it does not really align with the standard for pilot episodes at all. But because of the nature of the show and the fact that it's a spin-off series of like a much bigger cinematic universe, I think it completely works and they can get away with it. The fact that this is a show about a TV nerd with superpowers, come on.
She's a magical gal in a small town locale. He's a Harley who's part machine.
what you've done.